ultimately made my decision based on the people, which sounds really cliche, but when it came down to it, the two firms were really similar, so I really wanted a culture and a fit with the people. I basically decided to network and meet as many people from the two firms as possible, going to the networking events and the pre-interview sessions and talking to as many people that worked within the firm as possible. Because when it comes down to it, a job's gonna have the good times and the bad times, and what makes those times better is always the people.
With location, you have to be willing to be flexible, and if you're not willing to be flexible with location, then you have to be flexible about the types of jobs that you're going to be willing to take. So you have to figure out where your priorities are, and for me, staying tied to one specific area isn't a huge priority, but at least in starting my search, if I have to pick somewhere, at least I know kind of where I want to start.
Location was important in my decision because going to school at Carolina, I live only 30 minutes from my home, and I've really enjoyed going home and seeing my parents when I need a relief from school. However, one thing that I did notice, if I am going to go out of state, it doesn't matter if I'm taking a plane ride, it doesn't matter if it's a 4-hour plane ride or a 1-hour plane ride. A plane ride is a plane ride. So once I decided that I wanted to stay in state, I tried to look at those jobs, but I realized that if I was going to go out of state, the distance then didn't matter. Bonus was very important because depending on where I was going to live, I was going to have to adjust my standard of living to where I was going to live. So it definitely helped at the end of the day deciding, okay, what am I going to get up front?
Last summer, when I really wanted to go to New York City to intern in PR, the most important thing to me was I wanted to learn. I wanted an experience. I wanted to learn as many possible things as I could. I wanted to be in a big environment where there was tons of clients, tons of things going on, and I always had something to do.
So I think development is very important in your first job, because in your first job you will be able to learn the expertise, skills, and experience you need to build a good foundation so that you could do the big stuff down the road. I think especially for me, coming from a biology background but working in business, development is a top priority. And when I was going through the process, I realized that different companies actually offer 3 types of development opportunities. So the first type is the training that all new hires go through. The second type is more ongoing. It's usually the workshops and classes that companies offer that are optional but for people who want to improve in certain areas. And then the third type is when companies give tuition reimbursement. So if you want to take a class at a local university, companies pay for it and you can learn something useful for your job.
I think my short and long-term goals factored heavily into my decision as to where I decided to accept an offer. First of all, long-term goals, I knew I wanted to go to general management. And so it was really exciting for me to have the option to be working in consulting, because that gives you such a breadth of industry experience. You can really figure out what industries you're passionate about while gaining experience solving the really tough strategic problems within those industries. And in terms of short-term goals, I knew it was really, really important to me to get some high-level experience and exposure to really talented people and top executives, and consulting was the field for me that provided the best avenue to do that right out of undergrad.
I considered opportunities for advancement when I was making my decision. One thing was, first, am I going to enjoy the job? But if I'm not going, if something in the job I'm not 100% passionate about, where can I go next?